right, I finally got to a place where I can get a signal. How's that? So we're now in some orchards and not too far from my house. We've had a series of thunderstorms, and that has really made the sky pretty. And you even got some finger bursts of rays. You guys are just in time. There it goes. The sun's just going down. Beautiful day. Hey, you know what? I'm not the only one. Look at that. That's gorgeous. See, Matt McGee's not the only one who can show us beautiful sunsets. Oh, don't worry, I'm not driving. My wonderful wife is driving. That would not be legal, no, and I would not do that. In fact, there's a lot of people out there thinking it's really fun to waste time periscoping while they're driving in rush hour traffic or something, and that's really a dumb idea. Please don't scope and drive. Friends do not let friends stream and drive. Yeah, I didn't catch much of the concert. We were in and out of cell signal, and so we were just trying to catch a few of the tweets and that kind of thing. I did see that Bad was played. That was gorgeous, huh? There we go. Now out the front window. We'll just let that magic, work its magic. 'Cause that is gorgeous right there. That's a pretty clean air. I have a feeling we lost you. I'm not seeing any activity here. There we go. Oh, I think I got you back now. We were losing people there for a second. I think it was not doing so well. Yeah, from what I understand, the streams were in and out tonight, and maybe the MixLR too. I'm certainly grateful for everybody who throws down a stream here and there and gives it a chance. So that's really nice. I'm grateful for those people that would do it at all. This is, yeah, these kind of summer evenings are the best. Hard to hear me right now? Okay. I got the front mic on, so we'll, thank you for telling me that. I always appreciate when you say something about whether you can hear me or not. All right, that should make a difference. Now, can you see the, you should be able to hear me fine now. You can't really get, sunset's out there somewhere. There it is. And see, Tracy indeed is driving, and it is not me. I'm ready to let go of the steering wheel. So how you doing? How was the concert? Talk to me. What was going on? I know there was a few highlights here that were kind of fun. I have a feeling I lost you again, so I'll just keep babbling because I don't see any activity. And whenever I see the count go down and I don't see any comments or hearts for a while, I know that we're not on. There we go. It's breaking up. Yeah, that's what I figured. It's coming and going. Okay, now it looks like everybody's back on. Hey, gang. I'm in town now, so we'll have I think we'll have a good consistent signal here. But just went up to the mountains to take my son up to camp. Beautiful, gorgeous camp at 7,000 feet, very rustic, and in the Sierra Nevada. I wish you all could see our Sierra Nevada mountains. They're very close here to Fresno. It just takes us an hour or two, and we have the biggest trees in the world. Enough of that. How was the show? It was great, huh? Another great one. And they did October again, right? Wow. 2 nights in a row. That's interesting. I would have only expected that one night. We got Volcano tonight. Very cool. That's one of my son's favorite right there. You like Volcano, Daniel?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, well, that's really true, isn't it? I don't see the hearts because you're all typing real fast. That's fine. Hey, if you want a really nice way to work at this with your iPhone or iDevice, get one of those Bluetooth keyboards and you can just really type out the comments. Another little clue if you're working and if you're watching Periscope, I can't always see your comments, maybe because I'm working on something or I'm answering somebody else's question. You can what you can do is you type in your comment and then you hold your thumb on your device so that you can select it and copy it, and you can bring that up in rotation just by pasting it then. So little tip there, if you have a really important question that you'd like to ask and that I may not see, don't be annoying, just put it up every once in a while. You don't have to put it up every other comment or something like that. But all right. You can all talk about Edge's shirt. I have no idea. I think there was some kind of, what was it, paisley thing going or something, or little hippie thing. I can't remember. No, I'm not driving. Don't worry about that. Okay, so what were the highlights tonight for you? You're going to have to tell me because I couldn't see any of the concert. Leopard print, that was it. All right. Not a paisley, a leopard. If you asked me, I'd say it was all the same, but yeah. Yeah, D. Wilbur, do not spam me to death. Thank you very much. October certainly is a highlight, isn't it? Edge's guitar work in Bullet. It says U2 Ginger. Bad with a snippet of Moment of Surrender. Sweet. We are on a field trip again. That's right. Crystal Ballroom on location. But hey, we're here. I wouldn't miss it. So we got 2 times MOS tonight. Yeah, he's been doing that lately, including it out there. So it sounded like Bad was a late edition. Is that right? Kind of one of those verbal cues. He was working out with Larry or something like that and bringing it together. I know that we had some special guests in the audience tonight, and there was a few that I jotted down that were probably worth mentioning. I love the part when he said, and I can't remember because I think I'll give you a second for the feed to catch up here. Looks like we might be coming in and out again. Are we back? Well, I'll keep rambling. I heard at one point that there were, I liked his notion that there were Democrats and Republicans in the House, and they're at the same concert, and that they're getting along. And so we had Lindsey Graham, who's a Republican from South Carolina, and we have Chris Coons, who's a Democrat from Delaware. And this is one of the things that Bono does so well. Chris Martin was in the house. I don't know if you've got all of that. I can tell that you're back online now. The numbers are going up and the comments are coming back. You're back. Good. Lindsey Graham, Republican from South Carolina. Chris Coons, Democrat from Delaware, right? And they, this is what Bono does so well. He walks down the center of the aisle of the halls of Congress, and he gets people to talk together. And so I like what he said last night about, he's been saying it over and over again. He doesn't care whose rear end he has to kiss. If it helps, if it's going to raise funds for the HIV/AIDS plight and for reducing poverty on the globe, he's going to do that. Now, of course, this is what he's taken a lot of flack for as well. This is why he's gotten criticism, because he has kind of colluded with the enemy, many would say. I'm going to get out of my car right now. And he's gone over to those evil conservatives because everybody interprets him as a liberal, right? And he's gone over to that evil conservative side of the aisle, and he's colluded with the enemy. But what's one of the main messages, of this concert? And that is compromise. Compromise is not a dirty word. So I think that's a special signal, and it's a great sign to see Republicans and Democrats, coming to the concert together. And I am home. Yes, I am. And I'm still looking at this beautiful sunset right here. Let's see. Oh, just getting a little bit of it. And right between those two pine trees, I don't know if you can see it, got a little crescent of a moon going on there. That's really nice. Not the only one staring at the sun. That was my getting out of car snippet. So I appreciate, back to it, that Bono can work for the world's poor, and he can work across those aisles. He can meet the conservative and the liberal together as well. Oh, who else? So what I really like, and maybe the thing that I'll get to just for a couple of minutes here, and why don't you come with me? We'll just sit down on the front porch. Shall we do that? There we go. I just have a small house out in kind of north suburban Fresno. And so we're just going to sit down here. These chairs are really dirty. I haven't cleaned them off for a while, but oh well. There we go. So one of the things that I picked up on today, and thank you, Sherry, for giving me a cue here. I think Sherry's on. I think I saw that. Is that Mark Kelly was in the audience, and I love Mark Kelly and Gabby Giffords, his wife. These are great people. So if you remember the story of Mark Kelly, it was in January of 2011. He wasn't married to Gabby at that point, but she was a congresswoman. And there was an attempted assassination in Arizona where she was at a supermarket. 6 people died, half a dozen others were injured. And she took a bullet to the brain and suffered some severe brain injury. And at that time, Mark Kelly is an astronaut for NASA, right? And he was due to go up on the final shuttle Endeavour, the final mission of the shuttle Endeavour, and that was May 2011. So he had a huge choice to make. Do I go up? Because the accident or the attempted assassination was in January, and then his final mission, I mean, this is one of the final missions of NASA as a whole and of the space shuttle Endeavour. Should he go up, it's a dream of a lifetime to be the commander of the Endeavour on the final mission. And so he had to make this decision. And together with Gabby, they decided that he would go on the mission. It was very touching, and it kind of captured the hearts and the imagination of America in 2011 after this tragedy of Gabby Giffords, and she was in recovery. He still kind of lived for this spirit. They did as a couple for the spirit of exploration and science and adventure. And so he continued on. He continued on that journey. And then what the thrill was, some of you know where I'm going with this, is that on the 360 tour, as they traveled around in different cities, it was Commander Mark Kelly from the spaceship, from the, I would say, Starship. This isn't Star Trek. This is not a Federation ship, right? This is a NASA space shuttle from the Endeavour. He recorded a message, and that message went along with the 360 tour, and he recorded multiple different greetings so that he would greet each city that they were in. And so if he was in Seattle, he would say, hello, Seattle. And then he would hold up these signs. Do you remember this? He would hold up these signs, and it would say 7 billion. And then he would hold up a couple more signs, and he's in the Space Shuttle Endeavour, and they're floating because it's 0G, right? And so it would say 7 billion, and then it would say one nation. And then the next set of words, one word split up into 2 blocks, imagination. It's a beautiful play on this concept of nation. One nation, and then imagination. And then he held up a series of partial words, and what did it say? It's a beautiful day. And then Edge took off into his chimes on Beautiful Day. And then he would add one more thing, and he would say, and this is the thing that just kicked everybody in the stomach, I think. He would say, tell my wife I love her. She knows. And it was just such an emotional piece, especially for America. And it's, again, what U2 does so well. It doesn't matter whether you're Republican or Democrat. It's this spirit of imagination. It's this spirit of adventure that, and the spirit of love that transcends all hate and all pain and this ugly, horrible assassination attempt. And it was just so representative of the 360 tour, which meant to have this kind of global perspective, this idea of planet Earth as a spaceship, just zooming through space. So hang on, people. I'm sitting down in a chair right now, but in actuality, I'm hurtling, hundreds of thousands of miles per hour, per second, probably, through our universe. Really puts a little perspective on the thing. So those were some of the things that just hit me tonight, and it's a beautiful day. It was great to have. It's great to know the progress that Gabby Giffords has made. They wrote a book together, and they do touring now, and they do speaking. They have a gun control agenda. They formed a PAC, Political Action Committee here in America, that is, and they lobby for greater gun control. And they are met with resistance all over this country. I know for those of you who are from Europe and Australia and other places, this is really a hard one to grab a hold of. But America has this sense of this rugged independence. And where does the rugged independence come from? It comes from blazing a trail into the West. And this is kind of the myth that drives America. It really is deeply rooted and embedded in our psyche and in our conscience. It's the narrative that drives us. So when you start telling Americans, especially some segment of America, that there's going to be any control at all on guns, it just drives them nuts. And so this is why the gun control issue, it seems to make so much sense to Canadians and Europeans and Australians and other places where there's tighter gun control. But part of what you don't understand about us, and I'm not trying to advocate for greater gun ownership or less, I'm just trying to help you understand that because this is so much a part of our narrative and our story, far more than any other nation that I know of, this ability to kind of arm yourself. And I'm really not trying to take sides here. What I'm trying to say is that America has a story and a narrative with kind of this armed resistance that goes far beyond any other countries. So it's harder for other countries to understand why we don't take action on this issue. It's a tough one. It's very, very complex. So we'll leave it at that. How about that? Yeah, so some of you do scratch your heads. I know you Canadians just think, why don't you just get on with it? Well, it's not that easy. We're a family, we're a country, we've got to have these conversations, we've got to talk about it. So I actually thought he might comment on it tonight, because he has been. I'm sure that we have people on here. Let's not get into a conversation about NRA, please. I don't want to start flaming each other, but we all know that Bono has had quite a few negative things to say about the NRA, which is a lobbyist, and is trying to work towards that agenda in the name of freedom for hanging on to these rights and abilities. And again, that doesn't make. I've been in enough other countries to know now that this is kind of not making sense. So yes, thank you. I'm being careful. So the NRA, of course, is not the National well, some of you may not know this. The NRA stands for National Rifle Association. At least that's the NRA that Bono goes after from time to time. So, you know, everybody. Part of the beauty of U2 is that they're going to offend everybody sooner or later, and that's cool. Let's deal with it, and let's know why we believe what we believe. Yeah, I've got a little mockingbird out here. He goes all night long, and I'm so glad my my bedroom's not right next to him. So, all right, let's change topics here. I just wanted to. I actually reached out to Mark Kelly one time. He's a real hero of mine. He's a NASA astronaut who commanded the space shuttle Endeavor. I actually shot him. I tried to get a hold of his publicist for an interview a couple of times for @U2, and he's a busy guy, loving his wife, and they're working hard together. So I'm glad for that. But any other questions? Like what? Hey, that's great to hear, Backcountry One. I'm glad for that, and I'm glad you shared that. Thank you. I don't think, you know, there's a lot of controversial topics that YouTube brings up, and like I said, I think sooner or later they're going to offend everybody. It might be on the same-sex marriage issue. It might be on nationalism. It might be on gun control. It might be on Greece. It might be on finance. It might be that people think we're pouring way too much money into Africa. But, you know, the thing that this band does is they get us talking, and that's what we're doing, and that's good. I want everybody in the conversation. Can we do that? Can we have everybody in the conversation? Lily White was there. I saw a tweet from him. I follow him, and he was pretty thrilled. He got a shout out, and good for Lily White because he's an old school. That's fun. That is fun. All right, what else did you like? What was going on in the show for you? Bonnie going to his low register for the bridge of every breaking wave. Okay. He might have been working it a little hard. He's going to need a couple days off now, right? That'll be good. Bad felt so good tonight. How cool. In Iris, I think that was a autocorrect. I think you meant Iris and it said virus. That's terrible. That's he's been making the sign of the cross lately. He kneels down, he sings to his mother, and he makes the sign of the cross. Yeah. Gloria was back. That surprised me that we'd have Gloria in the set again. But it's a great invocation. It is such a clear prayer in a very classic sense, even in Excelsis Deo. Praise God, basically, is what that means. Yeah. What's he saying when he's walking out of the garden? Good thought. Thought of always true. Yeah. Felt bad. Okay. Troubles. We haven't seen Troubles for quite a while. Nope. It's such an emotional piece, isn't it? Iris is. Yeah. You know, one of the phrases I caught tonight. See, these things all connect and they intercross and they weave together. So last night I was kind of talking about the parent-child theme. So you have, you know, this heartbreaking kind of "I will follow" near Iris and "Hold Me Close," and then in the new Fly bridge you have "Call Your Mother," which is kind of a sustained message that comes up in there, and then you get to the encore and you have this mother and child moment as well. So these things, you know, they're very well thought out, but they're also intuitive. They're themes that go through the show. So one I was thinking about tonight is "Tear Down the Walls" again, right? So on the Berlin Wall, there's one of the phrases that's scribbled up there is tear down this wall and all the others will fall. And that really struck me tonight as I was listening to Streets. I did get in a bit of Streets, not the whole thing, but I remember the line, I want to tear down the wall that holds me inside. And that's a fascinating connection to me back to the Berlin Wall, in which they are inside playing. We think they're doing some of that whole Gavin Friday, kind of cover from inside the wall, but certainly they're singing Invisible from inside the wall. So again, tear down this wall and all the others will fall. And here they are at the end of the concert reminding us again, I want to tear down the wall that holds me inside. So these are these kind of themes that just weave their way just so smoothly and almost unnoticeably work their way through the fabric. It's like the golden thread that works its way through the fabric of these shows. It's really beautiful. Tear Down the Walls is definitely a theme of this show. Oh man, yeah, Iris. The moment for me was in Boston, number 3, when we were on the floor. And my poor 16-year-old son, he was standing kind of in front of me, like his back to my chest. And Bono starts singing, Hold Me Close. And I just grabbed my son from behind and I just squeezed him for like the rest of the song. And he squeezed back. I was happy for that. It was a very, very good moment. And, Iris was a great song on the album, like so many of these, right? But to see Iris live, to see the stars, the constellations, the home videos of Bob and Iris from their, I'm assuming it's their wedding, to see Iris running around in the backyard, and these are the only memories that Bono has. It's just devastating. All right, somebody said they had a question, and I'm so sorry I didn't catch your name, but I would, please, throw out some questions there. Something, was it an Inger or something like that? Inger, yeah, there you go. Throw out your question, please. Be glad to. Inger from CPH Copenhagen. Thank you. All right. Copenhagen, that's fantastic. Copenhagen probably is better. Glad you're here, Inger. Go for it. Okay, everybody be real quiet. Inger's got a question. Shh. It's coming. I can tell. I can feel it. What are your thoughts about AB? Did you ask this last night? Okay, what can I say about Achtung Baby? Achtung Baby was a product of the early 90s as the Berlin Wall came down, and they were there when it happened, and they were writing Achtung Baby. And, the spirit of One, if you ever get a chance, watch the documentary on One. And it is on, which set? Well, somebody will know this. There's a package where they did a documentary on One. Well, and I'm not talking about From the Sky Down. That's the beautiful piece. You got to watch From the Sky Down if you want to know more about Achtung Baby, because it was one of those moments. There have been many when the band almost broke apart, but they really solidified their mission and purpose in the early 90s as they watched the Berlin Wall come down, and the really, and if you listen to the off track Berlin, Bono sings to Berlin, oh Berlin, you used to be two, but now you're one. And so that really begins to be a theme of that album. That's certainly one of the kind of golden threads that weaves its way through Achtung Baby. But there's also, there's a darker side to Achtung Baby. So this is the era when they were getting hammered because of Rattle and Hum. It didn't go over so well. They meant to honor some of the you know, some of the American musical heroes that they had, but it looked like to the critics that they were trying to compete with them and overtake them, and so that didn't go over well. That's just one of the criticisms. So because of the success of Joshua Tree, it's often been said, many of you know this, that Achtung Baby was the sound of, you know, chopping down the Joshua Tree. And so Achtung Baby was that moment when they go away and they dream it up again. And what happens in Achtung Baby is this is when Bono starts taking on these persona, like Mirrorball Man, The Fly. And he develops these alter egos, kind of in the spirit of C.S. Lewis's Screwtape Letters. And people don't get this. And they start talking about sensuality and spirituality intertwined. And that doesn't go over well for the Christians, and that doesn't go over well for the secularists. It's just too weird. It's this kind of middle ground that people start tuning out on, especially by the time they get to Zooropa, which wins, you know, a Grammy Award for experimental album, and then Pop, which, you know, they hold their press conference in a Kmart, and everybody thinks they're just flipping nuts because they've completely sold out. But you get that whole trilogy right in there where they look like the rock stars that people want them to be. That's why Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me is such an important song in the catalog, I think, of U2, because you have this great line, they want you to be Jesus, they'll go down on one knee, but they'll want their money back if you're alive at 33. And that whole notion behind that line is everybody wants to see a rock star implode, right? Everybody wants to see a rock star careen down the slope of destruction. So part of what happens on that album is they say, okay, we're going to give you a show. What time is it in the world? It's showtime. We're going to give you a show. We're going to give you the show you want. In fact, we're going to one-up you. We're going to be better rock stars than the best rock star. And that's kind of what Achtung Baby and the albums after that become. One way to think about it is you can kind of think in trilogies. This is a broad generalization. But you have Boy, October, and War that make a great set of albums. And then you come into, Under a Blood Red Sky and, Unforgettable Fire, Joshua Tree, and Rattle and Hum. That makes a great set as they're kind of exploring America. And then you have this shift towards more of the deep, as they say, we're going to investigate our own internal demons on Achtung Baby. So we're going to move to the sensual and the introspective. They actually move away from political causes, overt political causes, kind of in the next set of 3 albums, although they still show up in their live performances. And then you have another set of 3. What's the next set of 3? All That You Can't Leave Behind, How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb, and No Line on the Horizon. And I think their trilogies are often defined by how long the titles of the albums are. So you have those 3 that go together. And here we are in another set of 3. 3's a good number to deal with. It's a great number to work with. We have Songs of Innocence next, Songs of Experience, and next, Songs of Ascent. I'm done. You've had some great questions that I've missed. I'm sorry for that. I'm going to go turn a little light on here, and we'll keep going if you want to do that. I think I'm locked out of my own house, though. It's kind of dark. Oh, there we go. Turn a little light on. Where's everybody? All right. Does that help, Inger? I don't know if that's what you're getting at, but if you had any specific questions, that would be fun to hear, too. I had actually planned to save Achtung Baby for something deeper. I don't know if you're laughing at me or laughing at somebody else, but there you go. That's fine. I don't care if you laugh at me. I'm easy to get along with. I was just in the mountains. I was just at 7,000 feet watching a thunderstorm How cool is that? I'm doing great. So, all right, we're losing some people. People going to bed. Good night. If you need to leave, no problem. Thank you, Inger. Very, very nice. Thank you for that. Will they release soon in Kingdom? So, like Kingdom Come, my guess is that's going to be on Songs of Ascent. That's just my guess. We know that there's a Songs of Experience coming. We could talk about William Blake sometime. That would be great to do. The reference to Songs of Innocence and Songs of Experience. We're not going to do that tonight. My voice is going. I got a head cold, kind of a sore throat. You already got me going longer than I wanted. See, my students in my classrooms do this too. I think they do it on purpose because then they know I'm not going to lecture. I'm just going to talk about what they're interested in, which I think is what the classroom's for anyway. That's great. All right. Anybody have any other questions? I think Tim might need something a little stronger than Robitussin tonight. Mercy, yep. North Star, those kinds of songs. I think, did Bono hint that North Star might be on Songs of Experience, but they always say, you know, it's so hard for them when they when they try to put these playlists together for their albums. My guess is that Songs of Experience, they've said, you know, within a year, Songs of Experience will be out. I can't imagine it being out that soon, but maybe. That's just my guess. I would say it could take a little bit longer. I would wonder if I think we're shaping up. This tour is so much like, there are so many parallels with Zoo TV, which, you know, went on for years. And actually 360 went on for years. It wasn't supposed to, but, you know, there were some injuries there. Yeah, Inger, go ahead. Type a question in. Just keep typing. Like I said, if you guys have questions and I'm missing them, make sure when you type that question, you don't just hit enter, but you copy that question first, and then you can paste it back in. Who's at Penn Station? Oh, you guys are in New York. See, I was just there. That's a beautiful station. But I'll be back in 9 days. I'll be coming to see you, NYC. I can't wait. We're having a party. Okay, what does Songs of Ascent mean? That's a great question. That is a reference. It's a biblical reference, actually. So the first two are William Blake references, Songs of Innocence, Songs of Experience. We're pretty sure those are coming. The Songs of Experience is coming. But there are different, in the biblical book of Psalms, well, a lot of people aren't aware, but there are actually 5 books within the book of Psalms. And one of those books, one of those types of songs is, one of those types of Psalms is called a Psalm of Ascent. And I'm going to have to save this because this is going to go way beyond what I want to do tonight. But real quick, the Psalms of Ascent were sung at the coronation of a king in the nation of Israel. So you were always ascending the hill in the city of David up to the temple in Jerusalem. And those are the Songs of Ascent, and that's where we're going to leave it tonight on that one. That's the 30-second version right there, Sarah. You know, partly what I'm doing, folks, you don't realize what guinea pigs you are. I'm testing stuff here. And I want you to come back at me. If you think I'm wrong on something, I don't mind at all. I'm testing out ideas. You know, I'm always thinking of articles to write. I'm working on a little book. I'm teaching classes and stuff like that. So here's what happened. Here's what I consider the Crystal Ballroom. All right, in a nutshell. Come on in. Come close. What I think the Crystal Ballroom is a magnificent. I'm not reading your comments right now. I'm going to make sure I say this right. It is an absolutely fantastic learning environment where I already have a little bit of knowledge, and each one of you has a little bit of knowledge, and we bring that pool of knowledge together, and we start talking about what we know. I would say that 80% of what I'm telling you is right. which means 20% of what I'm telling you is wrong. And that's why Sherry and Tasula are here, because they usually know that other 20%. The problem is I don't know which 20% is wrong. Otherwise, I wouldn't be, babbling. Now, wouldn't that be a great attitude to approach life with for all of us? Wouldn't we get along much better if we just, right from the top, just assume that 20% of whatever we're going to say is wrong and we don't know which 20% it is? That leaves room for humility. And what I would like to say to all of you, and why I love spending so much time with you, is you all kick in so much great stuff that just gets me thinking, and this is why you get me rambling. This is not an aristocracy. It's not an oligarchy. It's not even a democracy in that. It's just a community. And so, if you're going to do anything for me, carry that spirit into other places and avenues of life. That would be fun. A little birdie out here, I guess he's liking it too. We'll talk about October some other night. I've got some ideas for August. Maybe we could talk about the albums. We've actually talked about October a little bit too, but yeah. The band almost broke up. The band almost broke up then. The band almost broke up during Achtung Baby. Achtung Baby. October Baby. That'd be a great mashup. October Baby. If you didn't get a chance, go watch the interview that I played last night here in our little Crystal Ballroom. I know it's like me just throwing my camera on the computer screen. And it doesn't always translate the best that way. But you can go watch it. I have a link up. Okay, are we fading? There's still a whole bunch of you here. What do we got? Birds are enjoying it. There you go. Go ahead and type your questions. Yes, you did, Sherry. Thank you for retweeting that link. Speaking of retweeting, that bird is going for it. It's like massive retweeting. Okay, yeah, thank you for that question, Ruv, rock and roll. All right, I realize I have to remember, and you guys can remind me, that some of you are new to the Crystal Ballroom. We got people coming in and out all the time. What we've tried to do here is just create a little space where we can debrief the concerts after U2, and it's kind of grown, and there's a whole bunch of us now. It started with just a few people, and I'm in Fresno, California, which is right in the middle of California, between Los Angeles and San Francisco. I do not work with the band. I'm not affiliated with the band. I've never met the band. We're just a group of people who like to talk about the band. I do work with a website. I'm very proud to write for a fan site called @U2, atu2.com. We love our friends over at u2.com, but that's not me, that's them. And we work well together with you folks over there at u2.com. We love the social streams and the show reviews and all that kind of thing. Thank you, Dee Wilbur, for throwing up our website there. And so check that out at u2.com. And I'm a staff writer a news writer for at u2.com. I'm also a professor at Fresno Pacific University. Some of you may have been hanging out and didn't even know this. I teach and I chair the Department for Biblical and Religious Studies. That's my real job, actually. I teach in the classroom and I teach Bible and theology. And I have a little class called Theology, Culture, and U2. I do not have an online version of that, but I hope within 6 months to have an online version of that, and then maybe some of you would love to get into that course. If you're in the Fresno area, we could probably make arrangements. I teach it every year or two. But anyway, that's who I am. Thanks for asking. I appreciate that, because we don't want this thing to be cold and impersonal. We want to get to know each other. We also started the hashtag. Thank you to a bunch of you who helped advise me on that. I was going on a wrong track, and you came in and, you know, pushed me over and told me what's what. So make sure you're using our hashtag. I'm trying to do that, and that's hashtag U2CB. U2CB. That's U2 Crystal Ballroom. U2CB. There it is. Thank you for throwing that up there on the screen. And that is a beloved hashtag to me now. I just chuckle every time I tag that thing, because now you're starting to have conversations without me. You don't need to have me to have these conversations. Just go for it. There's a couple of great websites, and that's what we should do sometime, is talk about some of the resources that are out there. The two that I recommend all the time, of course, are the website that I work with, at u2.com, and the official website, u2.com. Those are the two I just go to all the time. There are a bunch of other great ones. U2 Wanderer is so fantastic. U2 Radio, I know you guys are out there. U2 First, U2 Start, Interference, those are all great, and I'm sure that some of you are listening in. And go ahead and type your site in right now. There's no discrimination here. I don't care. Throw it up in a comment. I don't care. What I would encourage you, there's one site. Oh man, I hope there's nobody out there. I want you to be careful of a website called songmeanings.com. That's the one site that I tell students they cannot use. There's a lot of speculation that goes on that site. And bless the people who do it. I'm really grateful for them. It's just that it's kind of unmoderated, I think. And maybe somebody could set me straight on that if you know. But I see a lot of crazy, you know, conspiracy theory kind of stuff come up on that website. And so I probably wouldn't use that quite as a serious reference. And of course, you know, Wikipedia has become a really credible source for looking up some great stuff. U2 Torrents, thank you. There you go. Yep. Wikipedia, you can just look up every album and song. And, you know, one thing you'll never really hear me talking about is the personal life of the band. I might mention, you know, Allie or, you know, their partners, or, you know, kids once in a while, like Eve, who's out in public and all. And I guess Jordan was there tonight, huh? Inger, go ahead and type your question, no problem. So you know what? The thing that I don't, U2 gigs, thanks. Yep. The thing that I don't really care so much about is, can I say the fangirl stuff? I don't know. I don't make a good fangirl. So I don't, you know, like, I really don't know where the band is right now, and I don't know when they're in France and when they're in Ventura Beach and all of that kind of thing. So I'm more into, probably the thing that I do, and if you want to hang around, we'll do this, is we'll try to do kind of thematic analysis of albums and concerts, and then we'll try to make connections to culture. That's the thing that I love to do, is just think about how has culture impacted U2? How are they impacting culture? What's the interplay there? Thank you, Sarah. One.org and Red are great websites. My goodness. There are a couple of activist sites that I belong to. There aren't many, because I'd rather put my energy into a few, and one.org is one of them. I don't have my wristbands on tonight. So, yeah, there's a bunch of great ones out there. We could do a whole show on that. Inger, I'm sorry your question went right on by me again. Yeah. It's okay to be a fangirl, music girl. That's okay. I'm probably not going to be one of. Yeah, if you're looking at the message boards and trying to figure out where Bono is so you can go meet him, that's fine. That's just not what I do here in our Crystal Ballroom. So maybe, you know what? I have a great I didn't meet Bono story. Do you want to hear my story? It's too late, isn't it? We should go to bed. Some of you are like wherever. still haven't found what I look for. Ended tonight. That's what I understood. Yeah. Will I ever meet you for a coffee and you two chat in Dublin? Oh, so Inger, you're Dublin. Oh, I would love that. It's on our bucket list, me and my wife, to get to Dublin. We'll see. Not sure. I'd love to have a coffee or a cider or a beer with every single one of you. That'd be fun. Maybe 2017. We'll see. We'll see. We got to start saving up, don't we? Copenhagen. Oh, got it. Yeah, you go to Dublin often. Okay. We oftentimes have, is it Dublin Live in our room? Tweet him at Tim Neufeld. Yeah. You know what? I don't know if my tweets are shut off right now or not. I haven't heard from Pascal and Val. Maybe I got my tweets shut off. Yeah. You know, somebody had an interesting suggestion earlier. If we could all somehow, somebody's going to have to figure this out. I'm not going to do it. But if we all, oh, hi Linda on Facebook. Your never met Bono story. Oh, okay. I'll get back to that. We'll end with that. I'm sorry, Linda. Yeah, you know what? All I'm doing is just seeing the first line of your Facebook comments. Okay, so I was in Disneyland. So this is during the Elevation tour, and my buddy comes up to me. We're at Disneyland with our families, and we're in downtown Disney, not Disney World, Disneyland, downtown Disney. So if you've been there, you have Disneyland, and then you have kind of this mall that you walk into, an outdoor mall, and then there's California Adventure on the other side. And we were hanging out at downtown Disney, and there's this cute, frilly little pink store that's very popular, and all the little girls have to go into it. And my buddy comes out with his little daughter at that time and says, I think I just saw Bono. And I said, well, what do you mean? He said, Bono, I think I saw Bono in the cute little frilly pink store. I said, what was he doing? Well, he was holding a little girl. And they were buying some stuff. And I said, well, what, like, were there people around them? Was there an entourage? Were there security and all that? And I didn't really realize at the time that, you know, Bono really, as far as I understand, some of you guys track this better than me probably, only usually has one security guy with him and can be standing at a distance. And I love that. I love that they don't just have to go in an entourage everywhere. So I thought, I couldn't imagine him being in that store. So we went back and we looked, and there was no, he was gone. So we just said, whatever. It wasn't Bono. So a month later, my wife is sitting and kind of getting her hair cut under a hairdryer or whatever, and reading through a People magazine, and there's a picture of Bono and his kids on the teacups at exactly the same time we were in Disneyland and using the teacups. And who was the little girl that was in his arms? It was Eve. It was that long ago. So that was my I didn't meet Bono story. I stood next in LA. I stood next to some of Eve's friends, and she was actually texting this just a month ago. She was texting them and saying she was making her way down. We were all in GA together, but she never made it. It's okay. So that would have been fun to tell her that story too. And you know what's even more bizarre about that? That was long before I knew. Well, I think I may have known about @u2.com, but I certainly wasn't staff or even close. Matt McGee, who founded @u2.com, was also in Disneyland the same day I was and the same day Bono was, and we both missed him. That's my I didn't meet Bono story, and that's just, To my knowledge, as close as I've ever been, but that's whatever, fine. Okay, we're gonna close it up with that, right? I don't have a song for you tonight. My computer's not on. We'll just go out on that note. Roll call time. We haven't done that in a while. Yeah, that's a great point, Sarah. I wouldn't interrupt a family moment. Like that. Might have been fun to see that family moment from a distance, but I wouldn't have interrupted that family moment. Not at all. Okay, we don't have time for any more stories. We're going to wrap it up, and everybody give a shout out. How about, what can we do tonight? Just tell us where you're from. I always like that. Where are you from? All right, we got Edmonton and Costa Rica and Southern Cal and Torrance and Connecticut and Chicago. This is so fun. Denver, OC, Kira, good night. Grand Rapids, Chicago, Cleveland, Seattle, LA, Sugarland, Texas, Pennsylvania, New Zealand, great, Ontario, Waterloo, Fresno, Wisconsin. Oh, I'm missing them. NYC, OC, Australia, Nashville, Montreal, New York. Good night, everybody. Houston, Oklahoma, Niagara, Monterey, Denver, Boston, Chester, UK. I've been to Chester. It's been a couple decades. You're welcome, Sarah. New York. Good night, all. Willamette, Illinois, Torrance, Wilmette, sorry. Nashville, hi Jim. Good night out, you two fan. Is Steve there? Hi, Steve. Chester's gorgeous. LA, Northside. Good night, Music Girl. Sacramento, good night, Jeff. Night, Little Beach Girl. You got thunder and lightning starting. How cool. We might get some more here tonight. Are you guys on separate phones? That's awesome. Good night. I guess we'll see you Wednesday, right? Copenhagen. That is just beautiful. Thanks, Inger. Sorry I missed your question. You make sure you come back. We'll get them. Nice, Kieran. Tear down this wall and all the others will fall. I want to tear down the wall inside. I want to tear down the wall that holds me inside, right? Thanks. If you've joined us tonight for the first time, please come back to the Crystal Ballroom. Head over to @u2.com for some great resources. Check out u2.com social stream. Follow my tweets, and I'll try to send out an article here or there. I think I've got one somewhere about Mark Kelly I might dig up again and throw out. And Wednesday night, sounds good to me. We'll try to see you there. I leave for New York next Tuesday. I can't wait. Use that hashtag. Thanks, Jeff. U2CB. Red Zone on Wednesday. How cool. Somebody just started up a motorcycle next door. I got a rental house with a bunch of college kids. Been trying to get to know them. My bird shut up. Oh, it's because of the motorcycle. Wednesday and Thursday. Great for you. Have fun. Shine like stars. Okay. Motorcycle's gone. A little more peaceful now. Oh, wow. Yeah. Love to see you in Europe, Inger. Pascal and Val, if you're there, I haven't heard from you tonight. Sorry about that. Thanks for all the hearts. That's kind of fun. Perry's done for the tour? I don't think you're done, Perry. I don't think you're done at all. Perry, I think we're going to see each other again. Your son might be a couple years older, but I'll bet we will. You guys are nice. Thanks. Yeah, thanks again, Perry, for doing some streaming there. All right, I'm going to shut it down. We're fading. Take care. And let's see, what can we do? Like teenagers on the telephone or something. That's as good as I can get for a light bulb tonight. Ah, good night.